I think it's no secret that this summer was weird. Among the many things that did or did not happen this summer, one of them is that we didn't really have a song of the summer. Are the charts just clogged up with too many old songs? Are people just not releasing for Song of the Summer anymore? Is it the damn TikToks? Is the monoculture dead? Well, no, probably not. But today on the Colin McEnroe Show, Colin and myself, technical producer Dylan Reyes, are going to try and give you a song of the summer. Do we have good taste? Do we have bad taste? Does any of that even matter? Even if we didn't have a song of the summer, maybe we'll come away from this hour with the song of this summer in spirit. So stay tuned. What's the worst that could happen? You hear a song you like?
Okay, so you just listened to a song. I want you to try to remember that you listened to this song because I have to explain some stuff to you, and then we're going to get back to the song. So every year we do, as many of you know, in June 12th this year, we did a Song of the Summer show. We try to predict what is going to be the Song of the Summer. And this year, two things happened. Well, probably more than two things happened this year, but in connection with our Song of the Summer episode, one thing that happened was there wasn't really a Song of the Summer. And there just wasn't. We could discuss, and we might discuss why that is, why that was. But there really wasn't. There typically does shake out a Song of the Summer. It just didn't happen this year. There's been some press coverage about that fact, believe it or not. And the other thing is that we were just wildly, even given the above, we were wildly inaccurate in our predictions. Everybody got everything wrong except the commissioner of the Song of the Summer, Brendan J. Sullivan, reluctantly predicted that a song called Ordinary by Alex Warren, whose title describes the song, I think, very accurately, would probably, just hang in there and be the Song of the Summer. And arguably, at least in terms of chart position, that's true. So the person you hear cackling in the background is Dylan Reyes, who's the technical producer of this show. And I guess the other thing I have to say is that, pretty much once a week, Dylan and I wind up in sort of a conversation about newly released music, because we use it typically on our Monday show. Not always. But, and so a couple of times this year, I've said that should have been the Song of the Summer, or he'll say that would have been a good Song of the Summer. So what we're going to do now is a whole show that's basically that. We're going to tell you what songs were released that could have been, in a better world, the Song of the Summer. What you're just hearing right now is called Stare at Me. It's by a singer named Jane Hancock, also with Anderson .Paak, who's kind of my hero for everything kind of R&B, soul kind of stuff. But Jane Hancock's kind of interesting. She comes out of the Bay Area. She worked for a while with Raphael Sadiq. Then she got into the Snoop Dogg factory. She got into the Dog Pound. And she's been working with Snoop Dogg for a long time. But as you can hear, she writes in a very classic soul way and sings in a very classic soul way. This is from an album, I think it's called It's Not You, It's Me, or something like that.
Yeah, and not even knowing anything about the discourse surrounding why her and Anderson .Paak are working together. It makes a lot of sense for this particular sound to come out of Anderson .Paak. For this, if you're going after that particular soul sound, he's the perfect collaboration, especially coming off of Bruno Mars, who is also on a legendary run of collaborations and whose collab with Lady Gaga also ended up on the real, quote unquote, real list.
Yeah.
earlier this year, even though it was like, a year old or something like that.
Yeah, if you know the Silk Sonic album, that's Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars working together. This has, I think, at times a real Earth, Wind, and Fire. You get to that chorus, and there's a kind of Earth, Wind, and Fire vibe to it. This is a very throwbacky song. Now, why wasn't it the song of the summer? You have a theory.
I just think, so when you're thinking about the song of the summer, you have to have at least some portion of this song that is going to get stuck in your ear. And since you sent me this list earlier this week, I've been listening to all these songs on repeat, and this is the only one that has not stuck in my head. That could just be how I process music. But I think that the chorus, the Spell on Me chorus, just isn't super memorable. It's not something that sticks in your ear in the way some of the songs later on this list do. And so that's my biggest problem with the song, is I just don't think it has a super catchy, memorable hook, chorus, and that the way they do the verses are much more conversational in a way that's harder to remember than a sung melody.
I think you're right. And I think also this song sounds like a lot of other really good songs. And that's kind of its virtue. It's very knowledgeable about what's come before it in the world of soul and R&B. And it may prevent it from having – typically the song of the summer has to break the paradigm a little bit anyway. There are exceptions. Blurred Lines, was basically a Marvin Gaye, a litigatable Marvin Gaye throwback song. But typically there's got to be something about it where you go, whoa, I haven't quite heard anything quite like that. And this doesn't have it.
No, absolutely not. It's also hard to talk about this song without talking about how radio play works. I saw a study published about this recently, is that a lot of our radio play is getting older and older and older to the point where I think around 40% of what we're listening to on the radio is 5 years or older, even on a top 40 station. And that's also because hits are just sticking around longer on the charts. So it's hard for a song like this to break into that scene if it's really not doing something wildly different.
And that might lead us to our next song because, yes, to get people's attention, you really have to get people's attention. You have to do something that nobody else is doing. And so I'm so happy that what we're about to discuss didn't happen before June 12th because it just would have been such a pain in the neck to try to figure out.
Who would have picked this? How this would have worked? Because so
you know who didn't know about this? Who didn't know about the moment we're at right now? Sony, and this is their product. They didn't think it. They said, "Oh, let's just put it on Netflix. Let's not even release it directly to theaters."
Huge mistake.
But anyway, go ahead.
So just to set this piece up real quickly, we're about to hear "Golden," which is one of the I think it's the lead single off of the soundtrack for the movie K-pop Demon Hunters, which I have not seen yet. I purposefully avoided seeing the movie because I knew that this song was going to be on this list, and I wanted to judge it as its own piece of music without having the context of the movie. But let's just get into it real quick.
Okay.
I was a ghost, I was alone. 두어진 길 속에 given the throne, I didn't know how to believe I was the queen that I'm meant to be. I lived two lives, tried to pick both sides, but I couldn't find my own place. Caught a problem child, cause I got too wild, but now that's how I'm getting paid. 끝없이 on stage, I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. We dreaming hard, we came so far, now I believe. We're going up, it's our moment. You know together we're glowing. Gonna be golden. Up with our voices. No one can get us so on it. Gonna be golden. I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. Our time, no fears, no lies, that's who we're born to be.
I would have loved to see most songs off this soundtrack appear on this show. just to kind of see what reaction it gets. So I want to know, like, have you heard this? Did you listen to this before the show? And what's your immediate reaction?
You know, I didn't listen to it very carefully before the show. I wasn't quite sure how we were going to handle K-pop Demon Hunter in just general, and I misjudged your level of adventurousness as usual. This is actually, there's real songwriting here. There's someone who's gone to quite a bit of trouble to do some real songwriting and production, and the vocal, I think, is also, these people are not amateurs. You can tell that there's real pros working on this. And it's a song that's got meat on its bones.
Yeah, it floors me how absolutely wild these performances are. So from a technical standpoint, K-pop has been known, I think, in the industry for a while to be the genre that is pushing how music technology works. The live rigs that they use for K-pop are insane, to the point where that while they're doing choreo on stage, they can switch back and forth between a recorded track and a person singing just by them like starting to sing, and it just automatically flips. Their production in this is so much, and you can see I typed a lot of notes on this.
Yes.
This to me occupies the same sonic space that Eurovision does. I don't know how much you follow Eurovision. I don't really follow Eurovision anymore, but this feels like a song that would have absolutely knocked it out of the park. It's got that kind of 12/8 dance beat with this deep synth bass. There's beautiful portamentos happening in the low end. It's the way they treat this song from a production standpoint blows me away.
Yeah, one thing that we should say that we are building on the show, by the way, to a song that we both agree probably should have been the song of the summer, that really kind of has everything that the song of the summer needs. And one of the things that I'm going to say when we get to that is that I like percussive singing. I like singing where the singer is actually adding rhythm to the song. And I think that's very much the case here too, that you hear on those middle lines, the singer is picking up the rhythm, but also kind of adding her own rhythm.
Yeah, I'm trying to explain this in a way that is not music school. They're laying a lot of different types of underlying rhythms together in a way that creates this very intricate web, so that you as a listener you're not counting to 12, but you're feeling pulled forward the entire time. I think that the break in this song comes in a perfect place. The first chorus is just big and bombastic and this, true wall of sound. But they still find a way to break it down enough that the final chorus feels impactful. The final melody on the chorus goes up in a way it didn't the first time around. It just, it elevates the whole time, and it goes to the finish line in a way I think that we have a problem with a lot of songs don't do anything after the first 90 minutes.
Yeah, no, I think if Brendan J. Sullivan, a DJ, were here with us, he would say that a problem with the song is that the beat structure is so complicated. I mean, his job is to get people up to dance at weddings or whatever he's DJing. And although this is a very rhythmically inviting song, when it's in 12/8 and stuff, mom is probably not going to want to come out.
No, but I don't think that's a thing you notice. This is like a festival hop song. I don't know if you can see me through the glass. I was just bouncing to the chorus because the pulse, even though it is in 12/8, the pulse is so strong that you feel the rhythm, the drum and the bass underneath. You're not distracted by the 12/8. I only noticed 12/8 because I'm a nerd who likes counting to 12.
Okay, role reversal here. I'm the responsible party on this show, which is never the case. But I think we have to move on to our third song of the segment, which is also one of your picks. So why don't you set it up?
Yeah, I was actually very surprised by where I went with this list. I thought I was going to do a lot more of my esoterica that I'm usually into. No, I found myself picking off of the Billboard Top 100 because I think that Golden and the song we're about to play, The Subway by Chappell Roan, are just excellent pieces of pop writing, and had they come out slightly earlier, probably would have dominated the charts.
Yeah, I think with Chappell Roan too, she's such a phenomenon, and she's such a phenomenon in a very specific way. And one reason that I tend not to think about her in terms of song of the summer is I feel like she's already found this very specific audience, but it's a big, big, big specific audience. She writes great songs. She's a great performer. But to be kind of the song of the summer, in a way, you kind of have to be very specific to the summer. So I tend not to think about her when we're doing these shows over the last 2 or 3 years that she's been kind of part of the conversation. But you make a good case.
Well, the other thing, too, is none of these songs that we picked really sound like summer. I would venture to say that most of the songs released that would have been in contention for Song of the Summer don't really sound like summer. And that's just a huge, that leaves a huge vacuum. But I still think that the way that she builds this song, I mean, we're going to go back to song structure again. This song doesn't tip its hand too early. The final minute, 30 seconds that we're going to hear is you don't hear it in the rest of the song, and it's just this amazing delivery. So if you believe that your audience is patient enough to, sit through the first 2 verses, 2 choruses to get to this big final chorus that's same harmonically but completely different melodically, if you believe that your audience has the patience to get there, I think that this is one of the best payoffs in pop music.
All right, I think we can play it.
All right, so let's take a listen, and we will be back after this.
During foreplay, and trust myself that I won't say your name, but I'm still counting down all of the days till you're just another girl on the subway. She's got away. She's got away. She's got
Something on my mind, but I can't find the words to say. What's been heavy in my mind? Have I always been this afraid? Just breathing and feeling fine, and your words lingered in my mind. Yeah, you said just keep yourself, don't look behind.
So first of all, that's a song called To Keep by Dominic Adams. This is one of my picks. Let me just remind you what we're doing. And by the way, during the break, I came up with our sort of our K-pop demon hunters name for who we are. CGWLM. That's Cranky Guys Who Love Music. So Dylan Reyes and I are the Cranky Guys Who Love Music, better known as CGWLM. And what we're doing is we're playing you some songs that came out this summer that could have been the song of the summer. Now, this song that we're playing right now, I know it's impractical. It's the ballads. Ballads have been songs of the summer. I know this one couldn't have been. But, Dylan was talking before about songs that stuck in his head. Once I started listening to this song, just that whole opening note progression is just sort of, it takes a while to get it unburned from my brain. And it's a very moving song. It's the messages that you have to keep yourself before you can participate in a relationship. You can't surrender yourself. You have to know how to keep yourself. And I think just for a young person, she's, by the way, from Winnipeg. In fact, the next place she's performing live is in Winnipeg in a venue that seats 200 people. And so I don't know how famous she's going to get, but this is from an album that I think is also called To Keep. And the songs on it are really good.
I want to raise a kind of evil point here.
Yeah, okay.
Is that too complex for a song of the summer? Like not in terms of musically, but in terms of theme. Do you think that an audience would go for that to be, your soundtrack to the whole whatever summer's supposed to represent?
Sort of, I feel like almost the opposite. I think if people knew what the song was about, I think young people would be very attracted to that idea.
Yeah.
I think when we get to the Stacey Ryan song, the theme is really a problem. Here, I think it's okay. If people knew what it was, that would be fine. And I could imagine a young couple dancing the first dance at their wedding to this song. But I also know it's not going to be Song of the Summer. I should say, I said this to him during the break, we've already played 3 songs, not counting this one, that are better than any of the songs that we played on June 12th when we were trying to figure out the actual Song of the Summer.
Well, and I also feel like the particular way this melody is constructed is with such care. The point that sticks out to me is, I don't know if it's on like a pre-chorus or a chorus when she sings Linger. I mean, we don't think about English as a tonal language, but she brings the whole thing down just a bit for Linger. Mm-hmm. And it just, if she sang it straight across, like Linger in my mind, and it was all the same note, I don't think it would stick in your head as much as the way it's constructed, which is this kind of gently lilting tone, and the way it just shapes down naturally to create this very conversational way of singing, as opposed to just, belting it out straight.
Yeah, I really love this song. I'm haunted by it. But anyway, we can move on. And maybe as we segue into the next song, which is one of your picks, I would say that one of the things that you and I come back to from time to time is these bands like Lake Street Dive that clearly come out of somewhat jazz-inflected music school environments.
Oh, no.
And Stacey Ray and Friends, I would maybe put in that category.
Sammy
too.
Ray.
Yeah, Sammy Ray and Friends. I think there's a wave of these groups that probably were in jazz school and then realized that, to make any money at all, they were going to have to diversify a little.
Yeah, it's also difficult for me because I was around that jazz school environment for a long time, so I'm going to be very careful about what I say. But at the same time, yeah, I have been drifting away from it more and more. And I'm going to go see Lake Street Dive in Lawrence when they come to New Haven next week or the week after. But I'm drifting away from these groups more and more because I feel like they start to fit inside this box where sonically, it's very similar. I have heard this before. And that's why the Couch Sweater Sessions EP that came out in April really stuck out to me, of which this is only one of 3 songs. I will say I really wanted to use a different song, Jessie, because it's got this giant, brutal bass line, and it's just a bass and vocal duet for the first minute of the song, but it's technically a cover of a song that they had already released, so I disqualified it. But even the Dominique Adams song that kind of fits into this aesthetic in music right now, which I think that we've talked about before, where it's very soft, it's not very aggressive, it's got this very effusive, like almost like a well-made sweater. It's comfortable to wear, and the last song we played fits really well into that. But I don't know. Have you heard this song yet?
I have not. I am excited to hear it.
Okay, then let's do it. But think about the sweater.
Upload all your feelings and song clips online. Last week you had some girl on your mind, and with the heartache and with the joy, I'm glad you're getting over me, boy. I knew it was just a matter of time, but it's taking all that I got not to run back to you, and it's hurting my heart. I'm no longer your muse, I'm a little I still had a hold on you. It's taken all that I got not to run back to you, and it's hurting my heart. I'm no longer your muse. I'm a little less for you than I was before, 'cause I'm out of your head, and now I can't pretend anymore. Hey, I can't pretend, no.
My favorite part is that when it goes to the second verse, it just kind of steps away from the key in the same way that last summer's Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter did. And then it just goes back for no reason. I think that's fun.
And I don't want to in any way, first of all, I like the song a lot. And I think mid-tempo songs sometimes that struggle a little bit. You know, things are either up-tempo or ballads, and you hear a mid-tempo song like this and you sort of wonder whether it could be Song of the Summer. I do want to say, and I don't mean this in a slighting manner at all, but the lead singer of the song sounds a lot like Rachel Price, I think is her name, the lead singer for Lake Street Dive.
No,
by the way, I will be there too. I will wave to you.
Yeah, no, it's the thing that we were talking about. They all kind of start to fit into this same sonic box, and for me, it just kind of starts melding together in a way that it just isn't distinct enough for me. I think the comment I wrote, like word for word, was, this is my very impractical pick. Mm-hmm. The style of this is too Berkeley to get mainstream popular, in the sense that it's all going to blend together for the people like me that really like this genre. It, obviously it stands out, but for your normal listener, I don't think they'd be able to tell.
Well, I think another thing for you and me, I don't want to valorize us, especially I don't want to valorize me, but I think if you really love music and you care about music and you're using music as something other than background or as a reason to get up and dance with somebody, one nice thing is if a song is complicated enough and does enough things so that you don't get tired of it. Because the Song of the Summer you would hear a lot. One reason Blurred Lines survived was because people didn't mind hearing it over and over again.
I don't know who these people were.
Yeah, I know. But there were, but this is obviously if you like music, you're kind of interested in music, and maybe the third time you hear it, you enjoy that little slidey, fuzzy trumpet thing that they've got there on one section of the song. There's sort of little kind of almost musical Easter eggs that you can dig into and enjoy in a song like that.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love being able to pick out individual session instruments that were just there for that one moment.
Yep.
But I love stuff like that. And this has that when it opens up for the final chorus. There's a little organ that comes in. The horn backgrounds are, getting a little more dense. There is a lot to eat on if you're a person who, likes music or even just likes to feel music. Like I know a lot of people who like to feel music, and you feel like this song is pushing forward. And I think that's a thing that all of the songs that we picked have, is they have a very strong arc from beginning to end.
Right. So for the last song of this segment, I'm going to just say that Dylan and I are both, we both like jazz a lot. In my lifetime, earlier in my lifetime, jazz music and mainstream music were not terribly separated from one another. And certainly if you were a musical person who wasn't, just totally wed to early rock and roll, you owned a few Dave Brubeck albums. You just did, and maybe when Kind of Blue came out, you bought that because everybody you knew who was cool was buying it. And I don't think that has really maintained itself very well. And although there's a lot of bleed back and forth, and you certainly hear jazz musicians on pop albums and stuff, and that's always been the case. I think it's been a while since a jazz singer really, really, really went mainstream. But I think most people who have paid any attention at all would agree that if anybody's going to do it, it's the singer Samara Joy. She just has, first of all, her chops are incredible, but also she knows how to sing the way that people who are maybe not entirely familiar with jazz can. She's a great on-ramp. And then when you get to the highway is pretty amazing as well. So that's why I picked this song. Also, it's been kind of a Brazilian sounding summer in a way, and Leife, if that's how you say it.
Leife, yeah.
Leife. She also had a bossa nova tune called Pretty Girl. This is a song written by the Brazilian songwriter and performer Javan, who I've really been into for, I think, 20 years maybe. And it's called Flor de Lis, parentheses, Upside Down. Samara Joy, this is kind of, I think, a pretty unusual venture for her out into the world of the Brazilian sound, But, another thing that I like about this song is, it goes back to what we were saying before, Dylan, which is that if you listen to it all the way through, she waits, it's like 5.5 minute song. For the last minute, she just turns up the heat, in a way that she can do, but you wondered whether she would stay cool in that whole Sergio Mendes, Lonnie hallway.
Yeah, and we can't talk about having a jazz song in this part of the program without also talking about it's a long runtime. It's 5.5 minutes.
Yes.
It's that's extremely long in commercial radio standards. Yes. I don't think I've ever heard. So I also did a lot of commercial radio listening in preparation for the show, which is not a thing I normally do. But I was just keeping track of little things like how long are each of these songs. Trying to A and B, like what works on this and why stuff off our list wouldn't work.
But that's also why a lot of songs that we grab, there'll be a parentheses radio edit version of songs.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much grace to her singing too, and she never gets out of control, even when she's turning up the gas. And
she will do a song at some point in the next 5 to 10 years will be a song that, quote unquote, everybody will know.
Oh, absolutely. Let's take a listen, and then we'll be back with more.
It's your turn to show me you also have some feelings, some feelings. All I want is just a chance to love you, and then you'll see me flying so high up in the sky. Be what you are, but please let me believe that you are mine. And then you'll see me flying so high up in the sky. Be what you are, let me believe that you are mine. E o meu jardim da vida é seco mal do pé que brotou Maria, de Margarida nasceu.
Time to say a few thank yous. Most of them go to my co-host, Dylan Reyes, who's also the technical producer and the producer of the show. Although I should also say, Dylan and I are both under fairly burdensome and restrictive contracts with Lily Tyson Quality Entertainment Productions, which really don't allow us to go outside of her orbit very much. But she did say we could kind of do this as long as she could sit in the adjoining studio and admonish us from time to time.
Yeah, I'm shackled to the chair, but I assume she'll feed me one day.
Right. And so anyway, we should also just remind you what we're doing is that, so on June 12th this year, as we do every year, we did a show about what's going to be the song of the summer. We did it with Zandra Ellen, Sam Hadelman, and Brendan J. Sullivan. And there was a kind of tepid feeling even on that day. Nobody was too excited. Well, Sam was pretty excited about Wham Whammy and What the Helly, but nobody was really that excited about anything. And then this summer has kind of unfolded, and the weather has been kind of muggy and gross, and there's no real song really kind of emerged as song of the summer. I don't know if we have a theory that's better than that, although I think people are just kind of anxious about stuff. Maybe they're just too worried to have a song of the summer.
Well, I mean that, but also, okay, so this is where we have to get into my pick that I'm actually seriously a little upset didn't go anywhere. Mm-hmm. So I talked to Frankie about this a lot because we go back and forth. We share a lot of music.
That'd be Frankie Graziano, host of The Wheelhouse, but who also likes this whole topic.
Yes. Frankie predicted that some release of Bad Bunny's was going to go somewhere, and I was actually kind of surprised that he was wrong, and it didn't. Mm-hmm. Another pick we share is a group called Loaded Honey. They are comprised of the people who are in the band Jungle, who a couple years ago had the hit Back on 74, wildly viral hit. It's sad to me that this languishes in like side project obscurity because it's the same sound as that song. It's the same people. Clearly they love this style and the public is willing to listen to it. So I only wish this could have gone farther, but let's take a listen. I have the same reaction to this not getting as much playtime as I do to, Run Away With Me being less popular in 2015. But I want to hear what you think.
I really like this song. I mean, first of all, I'm a sucker for anything kind of Latin sounding. To me, this isn't aggressively Latin sounding either. I mean, in other words, I kept one of the Bad Bunny songs on. I had a little Song of the Summer for the rest of the year playlist that I've dumped a lot of music, including the ones that we're talking about today, onto. And I kept one of Bad Bunny's. But, I mean, his stuff really kind of self-identifies very specifically as salsa. This I like a lot. And I also do think it has the somewhat blissed out quality that we like in summer songs. The relaxing, you're sitting out at an outdoor bar, having some mojitos or something. And I'm describing something that is not my life at all, but I imagine that people do things like that. And this song comes over the speakers and people love it.
Yeah, the very bright open strings, this whole thing feels open. And I know I said earlier that none of these songs really sound like summer, but I think this is the closest.
Yes.
And I think that because this is a side project for the members of Jungle, it just kind of languishes, even to this day, in obscurity. A really great album, in my opinion, just kind of went nowhere.
Lily Tyson wants us to say something about how we keep track of music and how we discover music. And one of the things that I do on Mondays, I listen to bits of maybe 30 songs that have come out over the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
I'm looking for stuff that we can use on the Monday show, but I'm also filing away stuff that I just like. And I don't know. I mean, your breadth on this far exceeds mine. But so how do you do it?
I think I'm spending a lot of time putting myself in situations that, for my consumption habits, are probably uncomfortable. I actually found that particular Loaded Honey song, like I find a lot of songs, honestly, and that's just through the YouTube algorithm recommending me music. I listen to a lot of music. One of my dirty secrets is that sometimes during talk shows that are just talk, I listen to music underneath the show, but only in my headphones because I'm trying to find music for another show that we have going forward. So I'm constantly trying to find music, whether it's through something that to me is comfortable, like my YouTube algorithm, or if it's somewhere else. Like I listen to a lot of student radio. I still have a lot of friends who are musicians, and I'm just lucky enough to have that community who will put me on to incredible music. There's no real bad answer for how to find music, but
you have to try.
Yeah, you have to try. You have to put yourself out there in a way, and that's the best advice I could give.
All right. I think it's going to work if we do the next song because we need some time to sit. This is the penultimate song. You're going to hear kind of the quote-unquote winner as the last song that we're going to talk about. We're going to do a song. It's by Stacey Ryan featuring Corey Henry. It's called Good to Be Alone. I'll tell you a little bit more about Stacey Ryan kind of on the other side of this.
Right now, love's not on my mind. I simply want to just exist. 'Cause I know I sleep better on my own. Sometimes it just feels good to be alone.
So Stacey Ryan, the singer here, she's from Montreal. And a few years ago, she caused kind of a stir. She put up an unfinished song, maybe on Instagram, I'm not sure, called Don't Text Me When You're Drunk. And she challenged the listeners to write the rest of the lyric.
I'm still getting new ones of those in my feed, like to this day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So right away, you kind of got to like that level of adventurousness. Corey Henry, who sings it with her, I think is a jazz and gospel kind of guy. I mean, I think we did use this on a Monday show, and we both liked it. I think the problem with it is the theme. Although it might work for Gen Z and Gen Alpha, but the idea that it's good to be alone, nobody's kind of asking you where you're going or what time you're coming back, or it's not. We don't always use the word romance about songs of the summer, but they typically are kind of romantic, even if they're about broken hearts. They're romantic. This one is kind of anti-romantic. I don't know. It's kind of hard to imagine it as a date song or a wedding song.
No, and I don't know why, but this song just for some reason isn't clicking to me as a song of the summer. Mm-hmm. I think the theme has a lot to do with it. I also think the production style is just a little too outside what people would expect. Like, I mean, to say Corey Henry is like a jazz-ish, gospel-ish person is the largest understatement of the century. I mean, since I heard him, I first discovered him through Snarky Puppy, the jazz fusion group years and years ago. And I mean, he streams all the time. He is such a powerful musical force. And he fits here, kind of. I think the problem is I just don't really see his role in this as being something that really that makes his appearance in the song worth being a part of the song.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I really like this song. It's going to stay with me. I'm going to listen to it plenty. But I know it can't be the song of the summer. I think not so much because of that, but because it's good to be alone. It's just we don't really want to encourage that kind of thinking. You know, it's the incel market is not what we're really kind of looking for. No. So I think we got to start talking now about the song of the summer that we think it should have been, and I think both of us kind of thought right away, wait a second, why wasn't this released earlier? But this is a Mark Ronson and Ray tune. Say a little bit about it before we start playing.
Yeah, I mean, so for people who don't know, Mark Ronson produced Uptown Funk with Bruno Mars, I think, a decade or so ago. And that sound has just kind of always been his sound. And for him, this is absolutely his wheelhouse. Suzanne fits right into that, like, Daptone-esque old soul sound. And he does an amazing job with making this arrangement dynamic. And I think Ray is one of the biggest up-and-coming, she's actually British artists.
Yes. She's from the Tooting section of London. That's really true.
Fake.
And her real name is Rachel Keane. And I think one thing that you'll hear towards the end of the song too is that kind of percussive. There's kind of a kind of an upward surge of notes that she sings so percussively that the end of the song is every bit as good as the beginning.
Yeah, and I mean, we were talking about how we find new artists earlier. After hearing this, I teared through her discography. She did a song that has also really stuck with me. It wasn't even on an album at the time I saw it, but she did a live at Glastonbury. She did a song called Where the Hell Is My Husband? And this is clearly her wheelhouse. This is Mark's wheelhouse. If you want to go look, there's a live video of them on YouTube, and she delivers this stunning vocal performance. And she's like kneeling on the ground. She's kind of like hunched over. She's just comfy, and it's wild that to me anyways, that these people can put this kind of music out.
Yeah, and the commissioner, Brendan J. Sullivan, always says, you really got about 30 seconds to set the hook here. And I think the song does it really well. Even the kind of lyrical image of the person that they're talking about is kind of unusual enough so that you immediately try to picture who they're talking about.
Do we think that there's going to be a song of this? Like, do we think that the conditions that made no song of the summer this year are going to continue to next year? I mean, this is kind of a silly question, but
I don't know. I mean, first of all, it's possible that K-pop Demon Hunter has completely broken pop culture and will just never recover. So that's one thing that might
that would be delightful, actually.
But I think that these are special conditions. I have maybe it's just because I want to do the Song of the Summer show next year, so I'm letting hope become truth. But no, I think people want a song that they can coalesce around and that everybody kind of gets, and everybody gets up. People who've been sitting and haven't been dancing all evening, they'll get up for this one. I think that's going to come back.
Yeah, I mean, I think we want to have a monoculture. And a couple of things came together this year. The, world climate, just how everyone's feeling. It's in between release schedules. Songs are staying on the Billboard top 100 for way longer than they have been. And a lot of those are going to fall off next year. I think we're going to see a lot of these conditions change.
Yeah. But this song really could have done it, really, with the right. How come Mark Ronson, of all people, didn't figure out how to make this the song
He
of
missed
the summer?
the release date that would have made this song of the summer.
All right. Are we ready to play it yet?
Yep.
All right. Here we go.
His last cut is our pick for Song of the Summer, if we had our way. It's Suzanne by Mark Ronson and Ray. Thank you so much for listening today. We'll be back tomorrow with more.
Eyes are like the ocean. Her nails are painted green. A cigarette in her mouth and she mouths, hey dear, how you been? Gray skies out the window, but she's a summer breeze. Come and set the tone, now dear, come sit down next to me, Suzanne. Her hair hangs like curtains. Her smile is warm like June. She blinks in slow motion, just like someone in the Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes, you can't tell she's into you. She's a winding road that I've been running on down since I was 7 years old. Suzanne, I would love to hold you if I can. Suzanne, if you'd allow my left arm and my right arm to collide inside the small of your back, just like that. I need you, Suzanne. Sunset at the bar, you rest your left ear on my shoulder, and I wonder if that's just how you are. I whisper to the waiter, a glass of something strong, says I'm about to finally tell you how